See, one of the greatest weapons of the enemy, one of the greatest weapons of discouragement is complaining. It's the very things that come out of our lives. See, complaining gives a second life to the negative circumstances in your life. Let me say it again. Complaining gives a second life to the negative circumstances in your life. And when we start complaining, what we're doing is that we're just glorifying the enemy. We're glorifying negative things. And we begin becoming that negative echo, not only in our heart and mind, but to others that are around us. And that becomes infectious, unfortunately, in the wrong direction and wrong way. Let me ask you right now, what kind of echo chamber are you? Are you echoing God's love, or is there an echo of negativity that's so much greater than the echo of God's love through your life? God wants the echo of His love to be moving through us. And we got to, again, get those negative echoes out of us. Allow God to reframe. If only they could see God was with them, that God was watching them, that God was setting up this thing to deliver the children of Israel, to deliver them through the plagues and everything. If they could remember. See, complaining is one of the greatest weapons of discouragement. But there is also a positive weapon, and that's the weapon of gratefulness. All right, gratefulness is one of the greatest weapons against discouragement. One of the greatest weapons against discouragement. Now, I know it's spelled differently, but when we are grateful, we are full of God's greatness. We are full of God's greatness. We're able to be reminded of God's greatness and God's goodness and be able to reflect. There's that word, reflect. Reflect back to God. See, that's all worship is. I've said this before. Worship is a response back to God. It's where God can echo off of the things of your life, and you just echo back to Him praise, but you magnify, you make it bigger, as big as you possibly can. So when you see God's love, you come back and say, God, I love you. God, I cherish you. God, I want you more. And so we come back and we echo that back to Him, and then we also echo His goodness to this world. And so, again, God wants to begin changing and reframing some things, but if we can remember God's goodness, remember what He does. You know, I think about David as well, how David, during difficult times, encouraged himself in the Lord, it says. He encouraged himself in the Lord. He reminded himself. You look in the Psalms and you see over and over again how David started, looking and seeing some negative things, but then he comes back up. But God, yet I will praise you. Lord, your mercies are new every morning. God, yet I will praise you, man. When the dawn comes, I will praise you. Your words will be on my lips. Your word is in my heart. I mean, he just constantly came back to a praise unto God, reminding and remembering God's goodness in his life. And so we have these men in the Bible, these women in the Bible that reflect and remind us of what the right actions look like, of what the right attitudes look like, and likewise what the wrong attitudes can look like as well. We saw King Saul go the way of discouragement, go the way of just going completely off and then disobeying God, all the fruits of that. But when we can allow ourselves to be encouraged and allow the goodness of God to come and reflect and come through our life, then we begin seeing those echoes, the voice of God moving in and through us.